I want you to think about one thing in your life right now, something you haven't changed, something that keeps showing up for you. Maybe it's your weight, your habits, your follow through, your relationship, your energy. And if I asked you why it's not where you want it to be, you would probably have an answer. I don't have time. I've tried before. There's too much going on. I just can't stay consistent. This is just who I am. But here's what you need to hear. Whatever you think the reason is, it's not the real reason. And in this episode, I'm gonna show you exactly what it is and how you can change it. And if you stay with me until the end, I'm gonna walk you through something very simple that will show you exactly why you keep getting the same result and what actually needs to change. So if you're like me and you've told yourself for many years that you just don't have enough time, there's not enough hours in the day, you have to wait for the right time, that was my reason why I wasn't getting the results that I wanted in my life. But here's the thing. I didn't have a time problem. I had an identity problem. And I know for some of you that might feel a little sharp because your brain might be going, but I do have a time problem. I have all of these lists of obligations and requirements that are chewing up my time. I just don't have time to pursue this thing. This is why I don't have the result. So let's talk about time for a second. People say when life slows down, when I get through this season, when I have more space, when my kids are older, then I will have more time. I will feel more calm. Then I'll feel present. That's when I'll feel in control. But that is the same pattern as the arrival fallacy. And if you haven't yet listened to, you should definitely go check out that episode on delaying feeling good now in the assumption that your life is going to be better when. And what we know psychologically, and also this is biblical, is that your life doesn't change when. And if we want to go there right now scripturally, the Bible tells us very clearly that change doesn't happen in our actions or your circumstances, but change happens from your heart. In Proverbs 23:7, it says, as a man thinks, so is he. And what that means is if you're having these thoughts, I don't have time, I'm behind, there's too much going on, then it doesn't matter what your schedule looks like. You're always going to feel rushed inside of it. And I want to slow this down because this is where people miss it. You try to change your life by changing your schedule, but you don't change the version of you who is creating that schedule. And what I'm referring to here is, of course, identity. It's who you are being. And if you've been following along, you know that I'm working on this exact identity change for me, which is feeling more calm, feeling more present, less rushed, less urgent in all of my actions. And one of the habits that I get into is this urgency. So I see things on the counter, I see things in my car that need to be cleaned up. I have a list of things to do. And my immediate thoughts are, I don't have time for this. And when I think that thought, I feel rushed, I feel overwhelmed, and I feel a little bit irritated. And when I'm in those emotions, I rush my kids. I avoid the small things like picking up garbage in the back of my van. I multitask. I stay up too late trying to squeeze more in. And what's interesting, when I look at all of these examples in my life, it's not actually the circumstance that's creating all of these actions that I'm taking. It's the identity that I'm operating in. If I'm operating from a place of, I do have time, I move through life calmly, this moment matters, nothing is urgent, nothing is an emergency, I would walk into that same situation and behave differently. I would make time to pick up the wrappers in the back of my van. I would wipe the counter. I would slow down when my kids are talking to me, and I wouldn't be trying to do 3 things at once. I would be living this same life, but with a different rhythm, a different identity, which would give me a completely different result with how I'm experiencing my own life. If I'm being honest, I would enjoy my life more if I was not operating from those emotions all the time. This is exactly what scripture is talking about when it says, be transformed by the renewing of your mind. And all that means is that it's your mind that creates the renewal, not the schedule, not the circumstances, just your mind. Dr. Joe Dispenza says that your personality is your personal reality. And so what is personality? Personality is how you think, how you feel, and how you act. It's how you show up in your life. That is your personality. So if nothing changes with your automatic thoughts, feelings, and behaviors, your life can't change. So you have to renew your mind. And then what happens is your life follows. Your personality of being, for me, being a calm, patient, present, relaxed human being, that's going to follow, but it first starts in the mind. So let me show you how this works by doing an exercise. And you can do this anywhere. Obviously, if you're driving and you're listening to this via podcast, you're going to make sure you pull over before you do this. But at the top of the paper, I want you to write down who you want to be. Okay, this would be like your goal. So for me, I want to be calm. I want to be non-urgent, and I want to be relaxed. And I want to move through my life relaxed. Okay? Then you're going to draw 3 columns below that goal. Now, the title at the top of each column going from left to right is going to be emotions. In the middle, you're going to have thoughts. And on the right, you're going to have actions. Okay? And then you ask yourself, if I was already this person who operated this way, if this was my personality, how would I be feeling on a day-to-day basis? Okay, so for me, I would be feeling peaceful, present, grounded, generous. And then you move over to the middle column and you ask yourself, what would I be thinking if I already was this person? What are the thoughts that would be going through my head on a day-to-day basis? I'd be thinking, I enjoy my life. I'd be thinking, sure, I'd love to do that. I'd be thinking, I have time for that. I love this season of my life. Okay, and then moving over to the right column, how would I be showing up if I was already this person? What are the actions I would be taking? Well, I would be responding slower. I'd be picking up things around me that just don't belong. I'd be moving through my life a lot slower, brushing my teeth slower, washing my face slower, making dinner slower. I'd have time to look people in the eyes and really stay present with the individuals around me. That's how I'd be showing up if I was in a non-urgent, non-rushed, calm, present energy, if that's how I identified myself. Hey, quick interruption to the episode. I created something for you. It's a guide called The Identity Gap and a short mini training called The Disciplined Mind. I take you through a guided exercise in this training that will help you close the gap from where you are and how you're showing up today to how you would like to show up in the future. This is going to help you understand your patterns better, but more importantly, it's going to help you start changing them in real time. You can grab it in the description or the show notes. All right, back to the episode. Okay, now you're going to draw a line below these columns and we're going to move down below it and ask yourself, starting from the left, what are the emotions that you feel in pursuit of becoming this person today? Well, for me, I feel overwhelmed, a lot of doubt, a lot of self-annoyance, and even some stress. Okay, so why do I feel doubt? Well, because every time that I've been showing up in rushed energy, I have this subtle thought there like, oh, this is impossible for me. I get into thinking all of these circumstances around me need to change in order for me to feel like I have time, right? That makes me feel even more defeated. Okay, now let's move to the middle column, my thoughts. What are my current thoughts in pursuit of this goal of who I want to be? My current thoughts sound like, I don't have time for this. I'm so busy. I won't finish this in time. There's not enough time in my day. This is just a busy season in my life. Okay, now let's look at my actions. The way that I am showing up today, and remember, because our actions always give us our result, the actions that I've been taking are an irritated tone with my family members at times, obsessively making sure my kids are following the time plan schedule that I have for them. Every activity seems to feel rushed. I'm often saying no to my kids, and a lot of times it's for those spontaneous requests. Hey, mom, would you come outside with me and walk around the park? No, there's not enough time. And I'm often overworking because I'm trying to save up time. Okay, so notice that all of these actions are reinforcing this identity of I'm just somebody who isn't calm, who is rushed, who's not present, who's always in their mind trying to cram in extra things to do. Now look, there is power in being honest with yourself that you don't like the way that you're showing up. I talk about this in a previous episode, blame, shame, and self-responsibility. It's self-responsibility to take an audit of the actions that we are taking on a daily basis and say, I don't like the way that I'm showing up here. But what brings me back into my power is realizing that it's not my circumstances that are causing me to show up in this way. It's not the busy schedule. It's not my kids. It's my thinking, right? Because your thoughts create your emotions and your emotions drive you into these actions. So be careful when you do this exercise that you don't fall into that self-blame. You go into self-responsibility. You recognize that you're creating these actions by your thinking. And then you take your power back by remembering that you have power to change your own thinking. So when I did this exercise, and here's the truth that landed for me, and I think it's going to help you too, is that trying to create a calm life with a rushed identity. It's kind of like planting seeds in the wrong soil and then expecting something different to grow. If you plant seeds of urgency, rushing, pressure, you don't get more peace, you get more urgency in your life. So if you keep thinking the same thoughts, feeling the same emotions, and taking the same actions, you don't get a new life. You get a more practiced version of the same current life that you're living. I think the trap that people get into is thinking that they'll be more calm when life slows down, or they'll be more healthy when X, Y, or Z happens. And I love what scripture says. It says, walk in a manner worthy of that desired result, meaning walk as though it's already true for you. Not fake it, not pretend it, but practice being that version of you now. For me, that's practicing being the version of me who is calm, who is relaxed, who's going through the motions of everyday life with this identity as though I'm already her all of the time. Instead of me saying, okay, these are all the things that I need to do today in order to be calm, it's like, who am I being today? And when you do that exercise, it's everything on that top section. I'm going to act as though I am already her. I'm going to think like future me. I'm going to feel the same emotions as future me. And I'm therefore going to show up in those same actions as she is. So I'm going to walk around my life thinking, I do have time. And when I do that, I'm going to live like that. I'm going to look my kids in the eyes when they talk to me. I'm going to pick up the items on the floor. I'm going to drive slower. I'm going to wash my face slower and do my nighttime skin routine slower. And look, my brain is going to resist this, which is so interesting because my brain's used to the old pattern of doing things. It wants to rush. It wants to get everything done immediately. It thinks that there's a bear chasing us. And if we don't get the next thing done, then what? We're going to run out of time, right? It's just a thought error. And so I'm going to be on to myself. And because we have a brain that is very automatic, it likes to think the same thoughts and repeat the same actions and be very efficient. I know that that's going to be my biggest obstacle. I share this in all of my episodes, but your brain is wired for efficiency, not for transformation. And there's something in your brain called neural pathways, which are just patterns that your brain has practiced over and over again. So the more that you think that limiting thought, for me, it's I don't have time. The more that I think that thought, the stronger that pathway becomes. It becomes automatic. So your brain, whatever it is that it's telling you is the reason why you don't have the result that you want in your life, just know that that is a well-rehearsed neural pathway that you've been strengthening probably for years. And of course, your brain has evidence to tell you why that is true, right? I've got tons of evidence as to why I don't have enough time, but they're not true. They're just familiar. You have equal or even more evidence that the opposite is true. You just haven't been strengthening those neural pathways yet. So if you want a different life, if you want a different result in your life, you have to choose to think differently and think differently repetitively. This is a reps game. And the reason why it feels so hard is because the old neural pathway overrides the new one that's being built. And this is where some people get stuck, right? They do good for a while and then they stop their thought work, their belief work. If I'm to stop this thought that I do have enough time, my brain will go back to the old belief that I don't have enough time. And so what really speeds up this process is starting to act like the version of you who does have time. If you struggle with that same one as me, it's I am the person who has enough time. My new personality is that I'm calm, I'm patient, and I'm present. I'm going to become the person, and then the results will flow. Then the new actions that I want to have will be automatic for me. So this is called the backwards law. It's something that I learned from David Bear. I absolutely love it. And I've been teaching it as well to my clients, and they're having some incredible transformations as well. So if this is landing for you and you're realizing that you need to change who you are being, then you are in the right place, because this is exactly what I teach in the programs where I work with my clients, both one-on-one and in group. And as always, if this episode landed for you, make sure you hit subscribe. Be sure to check out these videos next if you haven't already. And if you want to be one of the first people to leave me a comment, I would absolutely love that. Nobody's been leaving me comments yet. So tell me what you loved about this episode, and I will see you in the next one. Bye-bye.